Art, Money, Success. Chapter 2. Decide what you want. Now, before I get into reading this chapter, I want to encourage you to download and print out the worksheets that go with this chapter. You can get them at www.mariabrophy.com/book. Chapter 2. Decide what you want. Your life is a series of days leading into months and then into years. How you spend your days is literally what your entire life will look like. Think about that for a moment. What you do every day defines your life. Imagine that it's a decade into the future and you are looking at the last 10 years of your life. What kind of life have you lived? Is this what you wanted? If the answer is yes, then you're on the right track. If the answer is no, then it's time to make a change. So we need to begin this journey by getting to know what you really want, so you can set the right kind of goals, the kind that will motivate you to take action. To get started, all I want you to do right now is answer this question. How do you want your daily life to look? Your answer will determine everything you do from this point forward. What you choose to do with your time every day is what your life becomes. If you're focusing on doing the things you love on most days, you will have a life without regrets. The problem is that life can get complicated. There are many demands tugging on us every day, begging for our attention. Our minds are so scattered that we don't always take time to figure out what it is that we want for ourselves, or to recognize that this isn't it. It is said that people spend more time planning their vacations than they do planning their lives. This is sad, because if we don't take the time to plan out what we want for ourselves, we will end up living a life someone else wanted for us. There's a great book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, written by a caretaker who nursed terminal patients. The author wrote that the number one regret of the dying was this: I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Too many people are not living the life they want to live. Every week, month, and year that goes by without living out your passions, the farther away they get from you. The death of a dream happens silently and slowly. When you're young, you go along with what everyone else is doing and what they expect of you. You fail to take the time to get clarity on what you want. You shove your dreams to the side as people convince you that they aren't important. Decades fly by as you're too busy taking care of everything else instead of building the life you really want. One day you wake up old and tired and realize you've done everything right, except you forgot to do the things that you had dreamed of as a kid. I don't want this to happen to you. I don't want you to have any regrets or feel frustrated that your career never took off the way you'd hoped. But I'm confident that it won't, because if you're the type of person to read books like this, then you are probably a person who takes control of your life. Or if you haven't been in the past, maybe you're ready to now. No matter what your age, whether you're a budding artist or one with decades of experience, today you will get greater clarity and make a plan to design the life and business you want. Getting clarity. The first time I really understood the importance of getting clarity on what you really want was back in 1996. Drew and I had only been dating for about a month at the time. I was in his room and something on top of his desk caught my eye. It was a piece of paper neatly typed up, and the title at the top read, My Life by Drew Brophy. The paper was separated into 5 paragraphs, each one representing a segment of his life and a description of what he envisioned. He had written under the art section that he wanted to become the best-known surfboard artist in the world. Under the surfing section, he wrote that he wanted to surf the world's best big wave spots, including those in places like Tahiti, Peru, and Indonesia. The paragraph that caught my eye was the one titled Family. He described in detail his desired life of traveling the world with his wife and kids while surfing and making art. It was astounding to me that a 25-year-old surfer had this much clarity on what he wanted. He had mapped out his entire life on one little piece of paper. When I read the words, I felt a great excitement stirring inside me. I knew that this was a life I could see myself living, as I had also dreamed of it as a child. Yet, until that moment, I didn't know it was possible. Not once in high school did any teacher tell me that a business of traveling in art was a possible career choice. If I would have told a counselor at college that this was my plan, they would have advised me to find a real job. That very day in 1996, I decided that I, too, would create a life of travel and adventure and find a way to be paid while doing it. Ever since then, I've made sure that every decision I made brought me closer to that reality. Now, 20 years later, everything that Drew wrote on that piece of paper has come true. Your art is your life. There's a plethora of art critics, consultants, and gallery owners that will tell you how to run your art business. There are set ways of doing things in the art world, and if you are the maverick that decides to do something different, you may be criticized. There are rules and guidelines and opinions, all meant to control how artists behave. Don't follow any of these rules and guidelines, not unless they fit with your plan. I don't want you to follow my advice either, not unless it resonates with you. You are the one who has to live with your decisions. So make sure that your decisions are yours, not someone else's. As a successful creator, your art becomes your life. Your work life and your personal life spills into and over each other. Your art becomes intertwined with how you spend your days, the people you surround yourself with, and the places you go. This is why it is crucial for an artist to be the sole director of their art, career, and lifestyle. No one else can decide for you. It's important for you to decide where you want to go and then implement the strategies in this book to help you get there. What does success look like to you? Success has a different meaning for each person. Most of the artists I work with say they will consider themselves successful once they can support their family with their art. Some will only consider themselves successful when they have reached a desired achievement or have impacted the world in a positive way with their art. Only you can decide what success means to you. Here are some examples of what success looks like to some people. Earning a healthy income to support a family, living a lifestyle that enables you to do the things you love, developing a reputation for creating meaningful art, making a true difference in the world with art, developing a technique that becomes a new standard in the art world, becoming known as the best in your niche. You need to find your own definition of success, one that feels right for you. On the next page is the Artist Clarity Worksheet, which will guide you to determining what you really want. Okay, since this is an audio, there is no next page, but in the downloads that you can get for free at mariabrophy.com/book, there is a sheet called the Artist Clarity Worksheet. I'm also going to read it to you. So if you have a notebook and a pen, you can just follow along and pause this recording when I ask the questions. Important. To get the most out of all the exercises in this book, don't type your answers into a computer or an electronic device. Instead, write your answers into a notebook or on the worksheets. Using pen on paper accesses a part of your brain that is wired to find answers that are deep inside you. This is what will help you get results. If this doesn't make sense to you, do it anyway. Often we don't even know the answers we are seeking, but when we sit quietly and write on paper, ideas and thoughts come to us. If you don't know what to write, then write anything you want just to get the energy flowing. The process of writing leads your mind to grasp for answers, often buried deep inside you. Take your time daydreaming as you answer the questions. Make sure to enjoy the process. Dreaming about your ideal lifestyle should be fun and fill you with enthusiasm. If it doesn't, keep exploring until you find a vision that does. Now I'm going to ask you some questions to help you get clarity. And for each question, I want you to take the time to write the answer. And every 6 months, I want you to revisit these questions and review the answers that you had given previously. Because what you will find is that your answers will change as you grow. So the first question is, what does overall success look like to you? How will you know when you've become successful? Now, I want you to pause this audio and take a moment to answer this question. The next question, what do I want to spend my time doing on most days? So what I want you to do is write down what is the ideal lifestyle for you? The next question, what is the one thing that you could accomplish that would take your art business to the next level? What is your number one most important goal for your art business this year? What do you intend to become known for in 10 years? What new skills do you intend to learn that will further your art business? How much money do you intend to earn? Yearly, monthly, weekly? And be very specific. And the last question is, name 2 influential people that you wish to meet this year. Write those names down. Now that you know what you want, when we write things down, they become clear in our subconscious minds. This is where the magic occurs because from this point forward, your mind will immediately recognize opportunities that will bring you closer to your goals. Once you can recognize such opportunities, you will be likely to take action on them, which will lead straight to the goals you've written down. When you are clear on what you want, your mind will also start generating powerful ideas, usually at the most random times, like when in the shower or taking a walk. Acting on these eureka ideas will quickly bring your goals to you. What if you don't know what you want? Some people tell me they're not sure what they want from their lives, but when I press them to dig deeper into their childhood dreams, they discover that they really knew all along. Their desires had just gotten buried underneath everyone else's plans for them. If you're struggling with deciding what you want, go easy on yourself. Take time to think. Go someplace quiet and clear your mind. Think back to a time when you were young and dreaming of your future. What did you imagine? What did you dream of? Often we find clues that go way back to when we were children. Sometimes we don't know what we want because our desires have been marginalized or suppressed due to the negative influences from people in our past. This is common for those who have had controlling people in their lives or circumstances that have held them back from taking care of themselves. Do the exercise anyway, even if you have no idea what to write. Sometimes just by sitting down and grabbing a pen, you'll get a clearer idea of what you want. Once you start writing with the intention and give yourself permission to explore your desires, you may find that they flow out magically onto the paper. And here's one extra exercise that will help if you're stuck. Take a blank sheet of paper and write at the top of it, "What do I want?" Start writing a list of anything and everything, including the small and silly. This exercise will unleash your subconscious mind. You might be surprised at how many words and ideas you end up writing down. Once you've written down a clear, defined list of what you want, it is now able to manifest. Keep the list that you've written and read it daily. This will help you stay on track and remind you of what is most important to you so that you don't get sidetracked. When we stay on track, we achieve what we plan to achieve. Every 6 months or sooner, if you feel necessary, revisit your list and update it as you reach your goals. Then replace them with new ones. Never throw these worksheets away. Years from now, you will read them and be surprised at how many of the things you wrote down came to fruition. This is the end of chapter 2. I'd like to invite you to hit subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you don't miss the next chapters and any of my future videos. Thanks for listening.